Good evening to everyone and to lecturer. My name is Ravinesh Rao. I'm a BBA student. My student ID is 2450061BBAN. Today, I'm going to do a presentation about a little field study that I did in India, and it's a temple called Birhadeswara Temple, aka Tanjore Periyakoi. Let's go to the next slide. In this slide, I'll talk about the objective of this study. I went to this temple on my previous trip when I went to India, and this temple, let me say, it's one of the beautiful temple that I have seen throughout my life. And I choose this temple, not particularly choose it. It was part of our trip, and when I go to the temple, the history of the temple is just speaks for itself. And our main feature of me going to the temple, other than for spiritual self, to understand what is the big hype for this temple and what is the structural features of the temple, and to explore their culture and religious importance of the site also, and to analyze the role of heritage sites in tourism preservation. Why does this temple attract so many people? Because the time I went there were heaps of people around that place, but yet it wasn't enough to fill the whole temple because not only I went on the weekdays, and it's a pretty big temple. The next slide, I'll be talking about the selection of the site. Now, the selection of this site, obviously, during my trip going to India, there was already selected that we're going to this temple. But the main reason of us going to this temple is their culture and their historical importance. This temple is under UNESCO World Heritage Site under Great Living Chola Temple. This Chola was built by the Raja Chola number one. Interesting fact: this temple is huge. The whole temple is made out of a granite, and it took 7 years to build the whole temple. Now, you might ask, like, okay, it's a temple made out of granite. That's piece of temple is made out of granite. I know, but the main issue is the temple located in Tanjavur, and there is no any granite near Tanjavur. Even the closest granite you could get is like few kilometers or heaps of kilometers away. So came to a surprising that it only took 7 years, and the whole temple is made of granite, which means they made us heaps of transportation from granite from another place which is unknown. It represents the achievement of Chola dynasty, like I said, famous for Dravidian architecture and engineering excellency. Dravidian are a type of people that lived during their dynasty. They're known for their architecture and their excellence engineering. And obviously, this temple itself is suitable for study both history and culture. On the next slide, we're going to talk about the pre-visit preparation that we did before going to this temple. Now, continue on the pre-visit preparation. Before going to this temple, I had a bit of a preparation did for myself. I conduct some background research using books and mostly online resources. Review the history of Rajaraja Chola number one and the Chola Empire. Rajaraja Chola is one of the biggest topic in India itself, and obviously there are heaps of movies made by them also. And I prepared some questions for observation and data collection. Most of the question asked by my relatives because we didn't take a tour and a guide, but my relative he's really interested in Raja Chola and he studies about that. So most of the time when I was in the temple and observing and all, I was kept asking him question and he was giving me all the answers that need to be answered. And we planned a visit on schedules, and we took some cameras and phone, which is I took all the pictures and all of this for this study specifically. And moving on, we'll go to the next slide. And during the field visit, I observed the temple structure, carvings, and the layout, examined the Vima, the temple tower, and their sculptures, Took photographies and documentation, photography for documentation, read informational borders at the site, which were scattered around all around the temple. Most of them were Tamil and English for tourism. Most of them were scattered around the temple for tourism and interacted with the visitors and guides. We didn't get too much question from the guides around that places because most of the time they were either busy or they were none. So we didn't have much time to question them personally, but yet we could ask some small questions and some of the locals also. And in this slide itself, you can see there's a picture of a cow, which is Nandi, is a relative as a god lah. Now, this his Nandi is prone to known. They say, if I'm not wrong, that he is sculptured in one stone and he's weigh about 80 kilo, not 80 kilo, not more than 80 kilo probably, but yeah, he's weigh at probably a ton. But I heard there's some rumors that he's is increasing over the years. He started from small and increasing in the past years, which rumors that I don't know should I believe or not. And the second part is the examining the Vimana. Vimana of this temple is quite interesting if you ask me, because not only they said that the shadow of Vimana never touches the ground during the day. And some may do not believe it, but there are some studies and some visual studies that said that the shadow never really touches the ground. Though the time when I went, I couldn't really see it because not only it was hot and it was just freezing hot, and obviously we were just surprised by everything around that time, so I couldn't really focus on it. But yeah, this is one of the few facts about the temple. And moving on with data data collection method. For data collection method, we did three of them: observation, photography, and secondary sources. And as I'm going there as a tourist, I just try to take everything in, not from only a tourist perspective, from my own culture perspective, and study their structures and environment. Sometimes we don't need to actually need to study the books. Just taking your own time and looking at the view itself could give you so much answers. We took some pictures for the documentation to be featured in this presentation, and also use the secondary sources as books and articles website. They also sold books around that area. My relative bought some and we read it together, and it had some key points, not especially about this temple, but it was in a general about everything. It's mostly about Rajaraja Cholan. And after this, the analysis and the reflection. The temple reflects the power and advancement of Chola dynasty, demonstrate advanced engineering and architectural skills, remaining an active religious and cultural site, highlights importance of heritage preservation. And my personal reflection is, it gained me an understanding beyond textbooks. There's a saying that goes like, reading it's different and go seeing it is different. Most of the time when we see this, Rajaraj Cholan, some people they seen in movies, some people seen the term in movie, and even there was a few movies that came a few years ago about Rajaraja Cholan. But it's different compared to what you see in the movies and books, and compared to what you actually go and see it by yourself in physically. After seeing and notice, I gain a different type of appreciation for my own culture and its historical value. And though I'm not a big historical person, I do study, but seeing them in personally, it increased my interest in heritage conversation. That before the trip, I was like, nah, I don't want to go. It seems boring. But after going and seeing the place itself, it changed my mind on this perspective of Rajaraja Cholan on all the temple. It might sound boring when you read it, but unless you go and see it, you may never know. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.